Hey there, everybody. Welcome to Hawkeye's Weekly Sports Review. Y'all and me, alongside Dan the Man, Jumping Jack Flash. I'm not biased. I hope these guys aren't. We got another roundtable this week, and not too many topics, but we have the World Baseball Classic, the Patriots free agency moves. By the way, kudos John Elway on taking our best wide receiver. Thank you. What else do we got?
We should have done the thanks Elway on the board.
No, I'm not. I'm not even gonna thank him for that. I'm so distraught about that. I am vibrating with anger. You can't see it, but I'm shaking behind this computer. I'm kidding. I'm not that angry, but I'm very angry, along with a lot of other New England fans. Can we please start off with that?
What, Welker?
Oh yeah.
Definitely.
All right. We all predicted that he would go to Denver last week.
We said if he's not going to the Patriots, he's going to the Broncos.
Yeah.
And that came true.
Yeah. We should just not talk about Wes Welker ever again, unless we say if they trade him, he's going to go to New England.
They wouldn't get.
I know they wouldn't. I'm joking.
Better be. That'd be the worst trade in history.
What? Going to Denver?
There's way
And,
worse.
Babe Ruth. I was speaking in terms of, like, what would be bad for the Patriots. That sounds like something I would do if I was playing, like, Madden 13.
That's a video game. But seriously, how do we feel about that?
I feel kind of mad because I've kind of grown up, in a way, watching Welker,
With
with
better
the
person.
Patriots. And he's always been fun to watch. And
And
it's
he's not dropping
kind-
passes in the Super Bowl.
yeah.
But when he is catching over 100 passes 5 seasons in a row,
He doesn't do where it counts.
Pro Bowl wideout.
People, I hate
Don't
when-
tell me he doesn't do it where it counts.
He doesn't do his best where it counts.
Hear me out.
That's because he goes all out during trying to get to the Super Bowl.
Well, it's not all his fault. Definitely. If Brady had done better, and if we had our 2 tight ends, then he should have won that game.
No doubt.
What?
No doubt.
What?
No
Oh, I
doubt.
thought you said no, you don't. I was like, what are you talking about? And if the Ravens if Flacco didn't just throw it to Bolden every single time.
It's not his fault he throws to Bolden. It's our fault we allow him to throw to Bolden because
Well, we
our
had nobody
secondary
yet.
sucked.
McCourty and Talib were the only good secondaries. Now we have Wilson we added.
We re-signed Arrington. We signed Talib to a 1-year, $5 million deal, which I think is one of the
That's one of the-
smartest
yeah.
offseason moves that we made.
Definitely.
The Patriots
We're
are
bringing in Freeney and
the
Ingram
Patriots of
to look at.
are one of 2 other teams that are specking out Denver's offensive lineman Doomerville.
He's a
His
defensive lineman.
name, defensive lineman. Thank you.
The only reason the Broncos let him go is because he agreed to a pay cut to stay, but they missed the deadline by like 7 minutes, so they had to release him.
Oh wow, 7 minutes. Give me a break, Roger Goodell. Please, give me a break. John Elway too. Like I said, kudos. Kudos. I do find something very fascinating about this, though, is because when I spoke with my grandfather about this, I told him that Denver offered him 2 years for $12 million, and he says that makes no sense because we offered him $8 million a year. But 2 years, $16 million. There's more than meets the eye to that. He had 4 quota
Conditions.
to meet per se. Yeah, there were 4 conditions to this contract. He had to be all pro in each of the 2 years, which added $1 million. 1,500 receiving yards in each of the 2 years. That adds another $1 million. Pro Bowl starter in 2014, $1 million. That probably would have happened anyway. And 1,300 yards in 2013, which was $1 million. All those add up to the $4 million on top of the $12 million that we were offering him. So either way, he was going to get at least $12 million.
Yeah.
But I think on the Patriots' part, the disrespect is just so.
Yeah. They didn't treat him like he was a Pro Bowl or an All-Pro wide receiver, which is what he was.
Kraft did.
Kraft loved him.
Kraft loved
Belichick
him.
just had a statement today. where he says
Belichick,
he
absolutely.
definitely would have liked to have him back.
Yeah, okay.
Well, it's not Belichick's decision to do that. It's the front office. Belichick, he has a say in what they do, but it's not his decision to say you need to sign this guy or else. I'm
Yeah, he's just an
leaving."
advisor.
He's there. He'll do it. He'll take the cards when he's dealt. Like
That's the manager's job. They use what the front office has given them
yeah, exactly.
and try to do the best with it.
And
But
he-
I think at the same time though, you got to give these guys enough leeway. The coaching staff, your head coaches, your defensive coordinators, your offensive coordinators, your running back coaches, your quarterback coaches, your receiving coaches. I think you got to give each one of those guys and each member of those smaller coaching staffs enough leeway to the point where they can say, all right, you're making this move. I see why you're making it, but here's reasons why I don't think it will work. Here's reasons why I think it's not economically the smartest move we can make.
It's not going to fit our style.
It's not going to fit our style of play, exactly. And I'm not saying Danny Amendola won't.
Yeah, but he's
He's
injury
not
prone,
Wes Welker, and he's injury prone.
He's not gonna. Edelman could step up definitely for this year. Put him in the slot and be. Well, we don't need a kick returner anymore. We just signed Leon Washington.
We don't know how that's going to turn out, though.
He's a poor little kick returner.
Yeah. Well,
He's definitely gonna work out.
all right, we'll put it this way. Look
Well,
what
there's
Chad,
no
look,
definitely in
Well,
sports.
all right. Put it this way. Look what Chad Ochocinco did when he was playing for the Cincinnati Bengals. He was great.
Yeah.
You heard his name on every down.
Okay. Yeah.
How many catches would you say he made a drive per scoring drive? And
When he was with the Bengals in
Yeah.
his prime.
And
he
let's
had
say-
five.
let's say about a good 25 to 40% of those touchdown passes that Carson Palmer was throwing was to him. He comes to New England. I literally saw him catch one pass. One pass. And it was in the game against the Broncos when Tim Tebow was their QB.
Yeah.
We beat them 45 to 10
That was an embarrassment.
with one catch from a big name guy like Ocho Stinko.
Yeah. Exactly. He's not.
Pardon me, Ocho Stinko. That's better. My
Well,
problem.
You can't really judge that because Randy Moss, when he was coming to
Randy Moss, when he came to New England, was great before he even
was,
got
but,
here.
like,
He was great with
people-
Minnesota.
people
He was
couldn't
great
deal
with
his
Oakland.
attitude, though. That's the only thing. And because Belichick doesn't take any of that, he's definitely transformed.
It's
That
not
was
just
probably
Belichick. That's the Patriots' way.
Exactly.
We don't take any
We don't
cards
take
from
anything.
anybody.
Yeah.
But we put up with Menkins. Is what.
You know what? Let's not talk about him.
Hey, we signed him. We
Well,
brought
let's
him back.
focus on signing Ballmer now. He's like 6'9", 300.
Yeah. There were a couple of offensive linemen in the draft, though, that we could really go after.
Well, the Pats.
There was one from Oklahoma that's 6'6",
he's
and there's one from Alabama that's 6'6".
Barrett
Is no, not him.
not Barrett Jones. We don't need a center. We have
I know we
one of our
don't need a center.
It's not Dan Copen. It's
No, he's with Denver now.
not Matt Burke either. It's Matt Burke's with the Ravens.
Connolly.
You're right. Same time.
I think we mixed it up with him a few
Yeah, I
times
know.
during the season. Anyway, that's a guy that I miss. Kaufman.
Who's our? I'm just thinking like
Nate Solder needs to stay
that's
healthy
what I was thinking of. Soldier.
because when he's not healthy, neither is Tom Brady, as far as I'm concerned.
'Cause-
Nobody is big enough. Strike that, reverse that. Nobody is as big and as strong as Solder and can play that position the way he does. He's young, he's big, and he's strong. That's exactly what Brady needs so that he's not constantly getting pressure from the blind side.
Yeah, well, the big thing for him, as you mentioned, is to stay healthy. It's like there's no contract issues. I think he's going to be really happy here. So
And
he's got to stay healthy.
and that's really the one thing that we as the fans don't know
yeah,
that the media does and the coaching staffs do know is injuries. Other than that, we know everything else.
yeah,
And I think knowing that makes a it really does make a big difference, especially with what fan base you're a part of. Even it goes that far.
Yeah.
If you're a fan of the Patriots and you get a staff like this that say they didn't let you know that Talib was injured with that hamstring in the AFC Championship game, or that Gronkowski has had 3 surgeries on his forearm. Say they didn't let us know that.
Yeah.
We wouldn't want to be a fan of this team anymore, would we? No.
No.
Because they're liars and they'd be rats.
Well,
Maybe not rats,
oh
but
yeah.
the weasels.
I have my Gronkowski shirt on today, by the way.
Did I call Belichick a weasel in this video?
Yes.
I did?
Yeah, you did. You said, well,
I think
can't
I
remember if it was before.
yeah.
No,
Before
it
we
was
started recording this week's review, I called Belichick a weasel.
You're talking about the tuck rule before.
Yeah.
we started.
The tuck rule, which the NFL is soon to rid of. I think that's long overdue.
The most beloved
Well,
law.
I think
in
in
Patriots history.
I think in theory it's a good rule, but in practice it's hard to judge, like for the ref.
Especially in AFC Championship games.
the Raiders fans want that back really bad.
Kraft said, and I quote, "I love the tuck rule." I wonder why.
Is that the same snowball game? Did they call it? Is it two different? Or is that two different things? The snowball game and the tuck rule game.
I
are two
referenced the
different
tuck rule game as the snowball game.
things? Okay, because there was a lot of.
But older Patriots fans probably wouldn't, like my grandfather or my uncle, who my uncle is in his 40s. He wouldn't reference that as the snowball game.
He called it the tuck rule.
He called it the tuck rule game. I call it both.
Yeah.
Lots to do with the Patriots
Yeah, I know.
this week.
I hope they sign the. They haven't gotten a pass rush. I'm looking forward to seeing either Freeney or Abraham come in here to get pressure because nobody does that.
You know what? As good as Abraham may or may not be,
He's a veteran player.
and none of these players get younger. Maybe Wes
Yeah, I
Walker
know.
does.
Yeah.
It seems. I would much rather see Freeney.
Yeah, I'm gonna have to agree with you right
Freeney is just a New England Patriots name,
Yeah.
literally.
there. He's with the Colts for most of his career, and he's proven himself. Even though he's been a little injury prone.
I can hear CBS definitely calling a Patriots game saying, and here comes Freeney down the middle getting a sack. I can totally hear that. I can picture them saying that in my head. Just like I can picture them saying Talib or Welker. Granted, we saw those guys and we heard them say that. I can hear them calling a game where Washington gets a kickoff return saying, Washington has brought it back to the house. I can picture that.
Yeah, there's virtually. There was a lot of things wrong with the defense last year, but everyone talks about the secondary.
It was all in the secondary.
Definitely.
Our defensive line was pretty good.
Our linebacking core is probably one of the best in the league.
Not yet. I think when
Almost.
it like finally gels per se.
They're still young guys.
They're still young guys, but our whole linebacking core is SEC.
It's a pretty damn good linebacking core.
It is, and when the time comes that all those guys are making Pro Bowls or they're
That's dangerous.
they're really taking a leadership role on our defense, it'll definitely show. The numbers will show. It'll show in the wins columns, and I think it'll show on ring fingers of New Englanders.
You know the one really good signing that I think they did is Adrian Wilson.
That's
and Talib signing him because they moved.
well.
They made the right move by moving McCourty to free safety.
Because
Strong
he's good.
safety.
This is. I know that I say that we're not biased, and this might sound biased to you guys, but I honestly think that as a free safety, McCourty has the best roaming abilities of any any defender
He's
in any
like a
secondary
younger
in the whole
Ed
league.
Reed.
He is. He's not as physical though.
Yeah, Ed Reed can lay somebody out.
That's why I really wanted to see Ed Reed come here. Here's a poll for you guys. If Ed Reed does not re-sign with Baltimore, does he go to a different? Does he go somewhere else, or does he retire?
Well, he definitely wants to go to a winning team. I'm sure he'd like to win one more.
He just won a Super Bowl.
Well, the Ravens are going to be the same. I'm gonna.
No, yeah,
right now.
They're definitely not the same
They
team.
lost
Lewis
Ellerbe.
retired. Ellerby's gone. Cleveland just signed Paul Kruger.
There's
I
another.
believe.
A little off topic right here, but there's another team that's been making a lot of moves, and that's Miami
Kansas City.
Dolphins.
Kansas City's making a lot of moves
They
too.
signed Mike Wallace and Ellerbe and a few other players, and I think they're, not going to be as bad as they were a few years ago. They just need a better quarterback because Tannehill's not cutting it.
They need a better defense too.
Yeah, you're right.
They could use better everything.
Definitely, except maybe an offensive line.
Their offensive line, I will say, is pretty solid.
Except they just lost Jake Long to the Rams.
I will tell you something though, and it's not just about the Dolphins. It's about our whole division, the AFC East. 4 teams in that division, and 1 is consistently good.
And that's us.
It wouldn't even have to be consistently good. It would be just 1 is good to begin with. The cream puffiness of the rest of that division, I think it enhances the Patriots' image a little bit. Granted, the fact that we could really score 50 points in every game if we felt like it. Especially now that we have a running game with guys like Vereen and Ridley.
Yeah, that's one of the things that's really come along with them is, minus Woodhead, but
I'm really pissed about that.
Yeah, that's
what really grinds my gears about New England is that they're getting rid of the little guys,
that were
literally speaking,
yeah,
that play huge roles.
yeah. Like
When
Smart.
when Welker's out, you get guys like Danny Woodhead and Julian Edelman. When Edelman first came here, everybody thought, oh, when Welker leaves,
Yeah.
which then we didn't think he was going to, but
he's been
when Welker leaves or he retires, and if Brady's still here, well, not even if Brady's still there,
Brady's still here,
regardless of who the quarterback of New England would be at that time, everybody said, oh my God, this Edelman kid, he's great, he's going to be the new Wes Welker.
he's okay, but he's
Along comes Woody.
Woody.
Everybody's saying, Julian who?
Yeah. Well, Woodhead was.
I didn't see Stephen Ridley, Shane Vereen, and Julian Edelman convert on 3rd and 17 with 5 extra yards after the 17 yards that they needed to convert.
What about the 4th and 29? Who converts on 4th and 29?
Hey, diddle, Ray, race up the middle.
You never think you get that. Never gonna.
It was
forget
against
that.
the Chargers, okay? Let's face facts.
Philip Rivers is the slowest quarterback in the NFL.
Philip Rivers is the slowest quarterback. He's got one of the best arms, and their defense is bad because they give up 4th and 29s at home with less than a minute to play, and they have the lead.
Okay. Where is he, by the way?
Okay doesn't cut it in this league,
Yeah,
especially in a
yeah.
quarterback-driven league.
Yeah.
Look,
When every quarterback is decent with a few great ones.
there's the
tossed
elite
in.
quarterbacks,
There's great quarterbacks, and then there's okay quarterbacks.
there's okay quarterbacks, and then there's the Tim Tebow's, the Mark Sanchez's, and the
The
Ryan
Bud
Fitzpatrick's.
The butt fumblers.
Yep.
Well, Ryan
And
Fitzpatrick.
wait. Hold it here. Notice all 3 of those quarterbacks I just named are in the AFC East.
Did you say Ryan Tannehill?
The cream puffiness of our division. Yes, him too. Ryan Tannehill. There's maybe 10 good quarterbacks in the league, and then there's just the rest of them.
There's some. Yeah, you're right. There's. If I were the Jets, I would definitely not start Sanchez. Like, he's had his time to. The Jets have surprisingly, they have a pretty good team. Like, their offensive line is probably the best in the league. The receivers aren't bad.
Who else do you
defense
have
isn't
on
bad.
that team to start?
They could give McElroy a start. He's not bad, but I don't think they're too scared to put Tebow in there.
He's not what the Jets need, though.
Well,
The Jets
Sanchez
need
is
more. The
clearly
Jets
not what
need more.
Jets
The Jets need more of everything, and more from the more.
I don't think
They need-
They need a quarterback, and if they had a good quarterback, they'd be fine. They'd actually probably compete with us.
You know who I really wanted? Speaking of the Jets, you know who I really wanted to see come here? Rivers.
Well, he's still on his contract. So they can't. Well, the Jets are trying to deal him because they know he's going to leave. He's most likely going to leave in a few years, like next year when his contract goes up. So they're trying to get something for him, and I think that's a smart move.
Yeah, deal him before you get nothing for him.
Definitely.
That would be great if he came here.
You know, I feel like it'd be a little counterproductive. He's a great quarterback, but I'm not sure if he can. I don't know how to say it. I'm not sure if he can prove what he's supposed to do.
Well, he proves what he's supposed to do when he's with the. I can't say it on camera.
He's a great
when he's with a crap house team like the Jets.
He's a great quarterback.
Why couldn't he?
But
if he can prove it on a team that has proven week in and week out that they can win, and he wants to be on a team that can win, and then he comes to the Patriots.
Yeah.
I feel like a guy like him would just light it up, don't you?
Yeah, of course.
I feel like he would be a great addition to this team.
I'd love to have him here, but I'm just saying he's not. It's really I'm gonna say it's a 1 in 31 chance that he comes here.
Well, yeah, the odds are low, but I mean, the Patriots like taking players from
Belichick
them.
likes corners, but there's not.
He likes corners. He likes SEC linebackers, and he likes taking players from rival teams in his division. Wes Welker came from Miami.
Oh, did he? I thought he went with the Texans.
Danny Woodhead,
He's from.
the Jets.
Was he? I have no idea.
We also like giving players away too.
Yeah, definitely.
Drew Bledsoe.
Yes, now.
Bledsoe. He's kind of. They said.
All right, I think we've talked a lot about the Patriots.
Yeah,
so why don't we move on?
All right. What else do we got?
Our
World
rant.
Baseball Classic.
Yeah.
We should do Jackie Bradley first. It's better topic.
Yeah, we should probably do Jackie Bradley Jr. first. Okay, so now it's my forte. So as a lot of you may be aware, because most of you are from the Boston area, or just fans of Boston teams, Jackie Bradley Jr., a prospect for the Red Sox, has been doing absolutely amazing this spring. He's got almost a 500 average. He has amazing defensive skill. He's getting extra base hits, and the question is, where is he gonna go at the beginning of the season? Is he gonna be on the 25-man roster? Is he gonna go down to AAA? Where is he gonna go? And it's been a real debate recently, and it seems like the fans overall want him to start, especially since David Ortiz is injured. But I just want to get an opinion from you guys. Where do you think he should end up?
I honestly think it's all about timing. I think it's all about timing and who can stay healthy and who can't. Because the biggest question right now, besides why should Boston or should they promote Jackie Bradley to the 25-man roster, is what's going to happen at the DH position. Because Ortiz is here. First he had the Achilles that was bothering him for 11 months and he wasn't healthy. Then his heels start bothering him apparently.
His Achilles heel was the reason why he missed almost half the season last year, and now he suddenly has both Achilles heels hurting him.
Exactly.
Gonna be out for probably the first month or 2 months of the season.
So like I said, it's all about timing. I think Jackie Bradley playing on the 25-man roster this season and the time that it takes for Ortiz to get healthy work hand in hand with each other, because if Ortiz isn't healthy, then we have to fit somebody else in his spot, and then the person that we're putting in his spot, that person's spot is empty.
Yeah.
So we just move a couple of guys around, and there's Jackie Bradley in the 25-man roster.
Yeah.
However, if we can find a way to get a healthy sub for Ortiz, and we don't have to switch any crucial players around where, like, to the point where they can't perform at the new position that they have to play because one guy is switching spots to fill for the best hitter in the lineup, arguably, then we don't really need Bradley.
Yeah.
I think switch it up for maybe the first couple of weeks of the season, which are kind of arguably, well, not arguably, but in my opinions, like almost some of the most important time of the season, besides the last couple of months, especially in our division, because you get teams like the Yankees, Baltimore, the Rays, which have come out of the woodwork in the last few seasons, and they've become a powerhouse team in a sense, and Toronto, which is arguably the best team, one of the best teams in baseball.
Yeah, they have one of the best rosters in baseball. They've
And-
been
and-
losing for like.
And their starting rotation is great.
I'm not gonna say that.
I
I'm not
I
gonna
fit-
say outright that they have the best roster right now, but
but put it
they
this way,
certainly have the.
I think that they compensated for losing their manager.
They got a pretty good manager as a replacement.
Exactly.
They didn't get a bad one.
Who's the manager?
I forget.
At least it's not Bobby Valentine.
It's not Bobby Valentine.
I can't coach in real life, so
People are gonna-
I'll coach in MLB 13.
Everyone's gonna be like, no one's gonna forget the year that the Red Sox did horrible.
Yeah, it's gonna be legendary.
Everybody looks at last season though, that breakdown that we had when we were just absolutely on a tear through mid-season, and then we fell apart at the end. Everybody looks at that as the one season that we truly did bad, but from 07 up, we were failing to put up consistent numbers at the end of the season, mid-season, and if we had made the playoffs, we weren't performing
Well,
to
the
our full
difference
potential.
between 2012 and 2007 is we won the World Series. in
No, I'm saying
2007.
every season after 2007.
After 2000? Okay, that makes more sense. Did I tell you I was not thinking we won the World Series 2007?
I don't want to hear about
I
it.
still have the ticket. Josh Beckett's for the side.
Yeah, we started with Jackie Bradley and then got to like
Yeah,
all the
we
different
should
pictures.
get back on topic. So, what do you think should happen?
I think, having said though, the beginning of the season is some of the most important times of the season because that's when, even after spring training, it still takes time for your whole roster to gel and to see where you're at in terms of performance and who can play where and, how they're going to perform at their position. Let it play out, have somebody, if it's already in the roster, sub for Ortiz, and if it doesn't work out, then I totally, bring Bradley up. It wouldn't be a bad idea, but,
I'd bring him up just outright. First game of the season. If the worst comes to worst, you get him as a backup and play him every other game. If, for some reason that Victorino, gets hurt for a few games, you give him a shot.
Yeah.
I'd even start him. I'd put him in right field with Ellsbury in center and Victorino in left.
We'll put it this way. R.A. Dickey could have a 5.78 ERA in spring training, and for the whole season he could throw a 2.94. What's his ERA in spring training right now? Not ERA, batting average. What's Jackie Bradley's batting average right now?
It's like a 4.69.
It's a 4.69 in spring training.
That's unheard of.
Those are
Well,
stellar. Those are absolutely
That's
stellar
great
numbers.
That's across 39 at bats.
Why
That's
not
not
give him a
across
shot?
That's 20.
20, yeah, definitely.
No, I totally agree. Give him a shot, but like I said, in time, you give him a shot.
Yeah, I totally agree with what you're saying. First couple games of the season are definitely the most important, and you want to have your best players out there. You might not want to give them a chance right then, but like you said, when the time comes, it's definitely.
Exactly.
I totally.
When the
agree
time
with you.
comes and the kid's got an average over 400 and
Yeah.
how many at bats?
39.
39 at bats. He's got an over 400 average. Those numbers are absolutely stellar. We don't know how that's going to go in the regular season.
He's been doing. He has had a
Spring training is when you
average.
let your guys from AAA and your new draft picks and your rookies get reps.
Yeah.
I mean, it's great to do that in the regular season when you're actually in the big leagues and not just AAA on a farm team.
Yeah.
My take on this is, you put him up, and if he for the start of the season, if he looks like he's gonna break down, like he's not ready at any point, then send it back down and take one of your other options to replace Ortiz. Because the way I see it, since Ortiz is gonna be almost definitely out for the beginning of the season. They should move Johnny Gomes to DH because all of his talent is in his hitting. He's a below average defender. Move Shane Victorino to left field because I feel like he could really handle the Green Monster. Put Jackie Bradley Jr. in right field because he's a really great defender, but I don't think he has the experience necessary to deal with the monster, and I feel like Victorino could really work with it well. And if Bradley starts showing like he's not ready, like the spring training is just him on a hot streak and him at his best, then send him back down because it's not like you'd have to put him through waivers to send him back down to AAA, and go to one of your other options like put Mike Napoli at DH with Mauro Gomez at first. I think that's what the Red Sox should do.
That's kind of like what I said earlier. It would. I think it was off camera, right? Before we were recording.
Yeah. What was it?
I will straight up tell you guys right now. I think Mike Napoli would be a badass designated hitter.
Mm. Just look at
Put
his.
Mauro Gomez at first. And if Napoli gets anything but a home run, put Pedro Siriaco on bases and let him bench run.
Can you just?
The guy's as fast as a bullet.
Does Daniel Nava play first base?
Daniel Nava is
I don't think
learning first base.
Yeah.
So He's trying. He's one of like 3 guys going for our backup first baseman.
Who
So,
was?
There's
Gomez. There's
Gomez. There's although he's not that much. I actually kind of misspoke when I said Gomez. There's Nava, Lyle Overbay, and Mike Carp. I forget his first name, but it's Carp.
I think they put Lyle Overbay in.
They've been really battling for backup first baseman all spring, and I think they're gonna go with Lyle Overbay. Even after trading for Mike Carp, I really feel like I'm getting his first name wrong. Even after trading for Carp shortly before spring training, I think they're gonna send him to the minor leagues and use him in later years, or even call him up later in the season. So yeah, I think that's the smartest decision. Although I think they're definitely going to call Bradley up some point during the season.
There's no doubt that to call Bradley up.
At least halfway through the season, he's coming up.
They'll call him up sooner, but I don't think they would call him up as early as the beginning of the season. I think that would be a little bit too risky.
Yeah, it feels like recently the Red Sox have had bad decisions on when to bring up their prospects. I mean, look at Lavarnway. Amazing stats in the minor leagues. But once you get him consistently playing in the majors, he puts up a really god-awful hitting performance and not even that good of a catching performance. So,
but it could be like.
And Mauro Gomez had a lot of potential, but kind of called him up too early.
So did Jose Iglesias. He never got called up.
Hey, well, it's like
He didn't get called up.
He got called up at the end of last year.
Yeah, at the end of last year. What does that tell you? What does that tell you? Our season was trashed at the end of last year.
Well, you can't just say that.
We couldn't have won the last 30 games in a row of that season and gone over 500.
While Lavarnway didn't do very well in minor leagues,
No, he did really good.
In minor leagues, but not very well in major leagues. You can't really. Well, that's not to say that players can't do well in minor leagues and major leagues. One example would be Middlebrooks, who is probably our starting third. Well, is our starting third.
He's our starting
this
third.
year.
Yeah.
This is only his second season, and he's already started.
Yeah, he was starting last year. But I'm saying, they didn't give Lavarnway enough time to develop. Middlebrooks had enough time to develop. Lavarnway did not.
Remember what I said about timing?
Yeah.
Steve Mitchell of USA Today Sports says keeping Jackie Bradley in the minors just a little longer wouldn't hurt.
Well, yeah, he's right. It's not going to hurt anybody.
So, So I guess we've wrapped that up. So
WBC.
yeah, let's head on to the WBC.
I don't know a lot about the WBC. I just know.
And
the
you'll
Dominican
recognize a lot.
Republic.
You'll recognize a lot of the names.
Probably.
So the World Baseball Classic just ended yesterday, and the Dominicans officially just swept the entire competition, going 8-0. Fernando Rodney did amazing, 7 saves, didn't give up a single run, and Robinson Cano won WBC MVP.
I think I jumped to conclusions with that pick a little too quick.
Yeah, I was second guessing myself as I was picking the U.S. because they didn't have the best roster they could have had.
Honestly, I was torn between 3 teams: Japan, the DR, and the U.S.
There was something in the back of my mind saying pick the DR, and I was like, no.
Baseball's our thing.
I'm kind of mad at myself because I really feel like I should have picked them.
Well, I was mad at myself the first week that we were posting these videos. That went 1 for 5.
But yeah, so Robinson Cano did really good. He had over a 400 average, I'm pretty sure. A few home runs. Pretty good amount of RBIs. Edwin Encarnacion, showing off his power, launched a 2-run bomb last night in first inning. Kind of set Puerto Rico off. A bad start. And they kind of didn't have it the rest of the game. And the Dominican ended up winning 3-0. So, are you really surprised at all that the Dominican won it?
No.
I mean,
To be honest, not really.
not just looking. They had the best lineup in the entire WBC. It was just their starting rotation that was in question,
Yeah.
and their starting rotation was amazing. I mean, just look at some of the names in their lineup. They had Jose Reyes for leading off, then Miguel Tejada,
Oh yeah.
sometimes going second. Sometimes he didn't start. I forget who else they had going there. And then Robinson Cano going third.
A lot of pitching staffs get counted out really easily, though.
Yeah.
Whether it be in the WBC or just here in the MLB.
Yeah, some of the most underrated pitching staffs end up doing the best.
Look at the Red Sox. Our pitching staff is doing this. They're playing pretty well.
Down in spring training, they're doing absolutely amazing.
Exactly.
They almost got a perfect game. Just not even a week ago, they almost got a perfect game. They were like, it got blown in the 9th inning.
That proves my statement. That no matter how bad you count out a pitching staff,
Yeah.
it can still do great.
The thing about the Red Sox pitching staff last year was that they had big names that all managed to do bad at the worst time. But going back to WBC, their the Dominicans' best pitcher was Samuel Deduno, who has not proven himself at all in the major leagues. He's on the Twins, which isn't the best environment for a pitcher to be in. They had a horrible rotation last year, and I think just being around a bunch of winning guys really brought them together. I mean, he has a great catcher up in Minnesota with Joe Mauer, but
I think anybody would love to throw with Joe Mauer.
yeah, he has some amazing pitches. It's just he has control problems, and I feel like putting him in a winning atmosphere with players like Cano and Encarnacion and Ibar. Those are with some veteran players like that, and a team where they actually had a really good chance of winning. Instead of in the Twins' case, where they've been out for the past couple of years, there's no chance of them winning the World Series this year. Well, I'm not gonna say no chance, but it's very slim.
Everybody's got a chance, but then there's the
Royals.
You got half.
Now the Royals actually might be a sleeper team.
What's the
too.
team that you think has the least likely chance to win the World Series?
Houston.
Houston.
Okay.
They won 55 games last year out of 162.
God. How many did we win?
We won 60...
69.
60 something.
60
Yeah, I think it was 60.
something. 67 or 69. We didn't even win 70 games.
We didn't lose 100 games like the Astros did.
That's true. And I still have enough pride to wear this red shirt here today.
And there's always David Wright, Captain America, which is the best nickname in all of sports.
Next to maybe Megatron
I'm pretty fond of Panda Bear.
or Legatron.
Kung Fu Panda.
Kung Fu Panda.
Did you just say Panda Bear?
Yeah.
Pablo Sandoval.
How can you not like that
What's your
name?
facts?
Venezuela really disappointed me. They
There
went
were a lot of disappointing teams in the World Baseball Classic this year.
They went 1 for 2, and they had Miguel Cabrera, Pablo Sandoval. They had other names.
Do I even need to say one more word than just Japan when I say that Japan was a disappointment?
Well,
How many
they
times
made
did
it to the finals.
How many times
They
did
were
they
like
win
the-
it in a row now?
What?
Didn't they win it like 3 years
Twice
in
in
a
a
row?
row.
Twice
Twice
in
in
a
a
row.
row?
Yeah. Just because they didn't win it is not really that much of a disappointment compared to some of the other teams.
But when you look at it though, like the way I do, baseball in Japan is just as much a tradition as baseball in America is, and baseball in the DR is.
Yeah.
And when you have a winning tradition like that, you kind of want to keep it alive. I'm not saying they're a huge disappointment like Houston.
Well, nobody had high expectations of Houston anyway.
Yeah, but lots of people were picking Japan to win the World Baseball Classic, and I'm not saying lots of people weren't picking the DR, but I feel like a lot more people were picking Japan than they were picking other teams.
Yeah. They lost to Puerto Rico, though, which they made it to the finals. So, I really think that it's not too much of a disappointment because they ended up losing to a team that made it to the finals. Honestly, Puerto Rico did not have much of a chance in that game last night. I mean, they had already faced the DR twice in the tournament, and they lost both times. So I think losing that third game was kind of inevitable.
Can I just mention briefly that I just got an update that said the tuck rule just got ousted.
It's gone.
It's done.
The tuck rule is gone for good. You finally get your wish open.
10 years late.
10 years later. They still get it. They wanted to see it gone. It's gone. In other news, Boston Red Sox prospect Drake Britton faces up to 1 year in jail.
Oh, good.
Oh, that's nice.
I was going to mention that the Bruins blew third quarter lead again.
What do you do?
Boston Red Sox prospect Drake Britton got himself into hot water earlier in spring training because of bad decisions and may now have to pay big. The 23-year-old left-handed pitcher was arrested in Estero, Florida on March 2nd and charged with DUI.
That seems to be what every single major league player that goes to jail for.
He was taken into custody at 4:42 a.m. after being clocked at 111 miles an hour in a 45-mile-an-hour zone. Need I say any more?
Yeah, no.
Led police on a brief chase
Before jumping a curb with his truck and knocking over a barbed wire fence before coming to a stop.
That's. Oh, it's also Bobby Orr's birthday.
Number 4, Bobby Orr.
Happy birthday, number 4.
That was necessary.
In my eyes, the greatest hockey player of all time.
Yeah.
Not as
You're not biased.
that's not biased. This is why. He's not as fast as Mario Lemieux.
Well, he's the only defenseman to,
He's the only
revolutionize the position.
he revolutionized the position of defense in hockey. He's the only defenseman in hockey to win a scoring title. He did it twice. Man scored 139 points in one season.
And he could have gone longer.
Evgeny Malkin didn't score 139 points last year, and he won the Hart Trophy.
Well, he's not as good as everyone thinks he is, in my opinion.
Oh, yes, he is.
I
Yes, he
don't think
is.
I think he's
When he's not in the lineup, Sidney Crosby does worse.
Well, you know, his
It-
plus-minus ratio must be good, but
And if Crosby's as good as everybody says he is, he's the greatest athlete in the world. No, he's not.
He's not.
No, he is not.
Not the greatest athlete in
No,
the world.
he's
but
not.
one
He's
of
not
them.
even the best hockey player in the world.
Right now, in the National Hockey League,
And then
he's probably the best.
right. I'm
He's
gonna
got-
go with the
he's-
Blackhawks player.
He's got the most goals.
Well, Patrick Kane.
They're riding a 10-game win streak.
Well, that's not all him.
I know it's not all him.
Well, you can't really say.
He's definitely a
Hockey is
little
definitely-
overrated, but
I
he
think
does
he's
have
way overrated.
all that skill, and I think he is the best, if not one of the best players in the NHL right now.
Well, he had a concussion, so it's not like he could.
Top 3 players for me right now in the NHL: Stamkos, Patty Kane,
I was
Crosby.
definitely. I'm gonna.
I'd agree with that, yeah.
Except
Maybe
Crosby's third on the list. For you.
maybe Gino in the 4th spot.
Gino.
Evgeny Malkin.
How did we get from the Penguins to Bobby Orr? I mean, from the Bobby Orr to the Penguins.
Because I said not as fast as Mario Lemieux.
Oh, because I was gonna say that Bobby Orr winning 2 scoring titles as defenseman. The reason I say he's the best is because he only played 10 years. He could have gone so much longer if it wasn't for his knees. He just had to. He could have been
I'm not saying he meant to do it.
undoubtedly the best hockey player. Well, people have a lot of doubts, but he could have been the outright best hockey player that ever played the game.
I
I think
think he is outright the best hockey player to ever play the game. He's not as fast as Mario Lemieux.
Super Mario.
Super Mario Lemieux. Didn't have to be. He was a
I
defenseman.
don't think they called him that yet.
He didn't score over 2,700 points in his career like Gretzky.
It's amazing. Well,
Didn't
yeah,
have to.
most people are going to say Gretzky.
He was a
best.
defenseman.
Exactly.
Gretzky wasn't as fast as Lemieux. Didn't have to be.
No,
He's
he
Wayne
was
friggin'
fast.
Gretzky. Lemieux didn't have to be as
Fast is.
didn't have to be as
Whatever.
prolific a scorer as Wayne Gretzky.
You're going to relate everything.
He's
down
Mario
to-
friggin' Lemieux. It's a triangle of the 3 best players in the history of the
I
NHL.
think he was
feel.
the only player to score 5 different goals in the same game. Like a power play, shorthanded,
Scored a power play, a shorty, an empty net,
empty.
a
Yeah,
penalty shot,
yeah.
and a
That's-
5-on-5.
Even strength. Yeah, that's probably one of the best, like one of the greatest accomplishments.
If anybody ever does that again, it will not be Stamkos. It will not be Patrick Kane.
It's
It
gonna
will
be
not be
Brad
Crosby.
Marchand.
It won't be Brad Marchand.
I'm kidding.
It'll be Alex Ovechkin.
Yeah,
The guy is a bull in a china shop. He can do everything.
You
Even if
seen
he doesn't
his-
fight, he can do anything.
His signature thing, where after he scores a goal, he'll put his stick down and like put his hands like it's too
Oh
hot.
yeah, too hot. Too
That's
hot
a
to
cool
handle.
thing.
Yeah, Bobby Orr's the best hockey player to ever play hockey. Better than Lemieux.
100%
Better than
agree on
Gretzky.
that.
Who are your top 5 hockey players of all time?
Let's see, Bobby Orr.
For me, first to worst, Bobby Orr, Wayne Gretzky,
Okay.
Mario Lemieux, Marty Brodeur.
Uh,
He's the winningest goaltender in the history of the game.
Let's say Mark.
Nobody will ever
I'm gonna
top
say
those
Mark
numbers.
Messi. Well, as a goalie, I like Patrick Roy.
Patrick Waugh would probably be number 5 on my list,
Yeah.
but he's not Marty
Where's
Brodeur.
Mark Messier?
Oli Kolzig's not
Rocket
Marty
Richard.
Brodeur. Maurice Rocket Richard, yeah, he's probably on that list.
Yeah. I'm gonna have to say Bobby Orr.
If I had to rethink that list, it
Rocket.
would probably be Orr, Richard, maybe one of the Stastny brothers at 4 or 5, Gretzky at number 3, Lemieux 4th, and it's a
Toss up between
toss up between
Roy and Brodeur.
it's a toss up between 3 guys: Brodeur, Waugh, and Messier. Because you can't have only forwards and defensemen. You
Yeah.
have to throw a goalie in there somewhere.
Definitely. 100%. My top 5 would be Bobby Orr, Gretzky, Richard.
If I had to
Probably
make a
Mario
top 10,
Lemieux, and
if I had
just
to make
go.
a top 10, I'd throw Thomas on that list.
Who's Tim Thomas?
Right?
I've never heard of him.
I don't know.
I've heard of a guy named Tuukka Rask.
Heard of a guy named Anton
I was just
Hudobin.
gonna say that. Hudobin.
Why do they call him Hudobin? It's KHU, not HOO.
Yeah.
Dobie here's a who.
Is that like a combination between
Dobie and Horton.
Horton, yeah.
In Bruins news, Chris Kelly has broken his tibia.
And they brought somebody up from, I heard that. They brought up a center from,
Well, they're not going to bring up a right winger. I know he's a
who
center.
plays center? Bergeron plays center.
Trying to remember his name.
It's the
McDonald, that's what it was. McDonald. Phil Krejci's position.
Where's Krejci?
Injured.
What?
I actually don't know. Krejci's injured.
I bet it's some sort of like.
No, I remember
Injury.
now.
It's kind of
I
hard
do
to
know.
keep track.
He took a shot to the knee from Johnny Boychuk.
Ooh.
But they're on the same team, aren't they?
Doesn't mean you can't get hit with a shot.
Oh. Okay. Slap shot.
Yeah.
They should probably wear knee pads.
He was playing goalie. I wouldn't want to play goalie against Johnny Boychuk. That's got bad time right
The
now.
worst player I think to play goalie against would be
Chara.
Chara.
Yeah, Chara.
107 miles an hour.
108.
Didn't he actually get a shot recorded, like, not in a game, but, like, just, like...
At the
There's a
skills
slap
competition.
shot.
At the
Wasn't
skills
it like
competition.
100?
Hardest shot, it's
No, it was like
108.8 miles an hour.
I thought it was, like, 120.
Who does that?
That's faster than probably some cars can go.
How do you do that? He's going into his late 30s, and he did this last year.
Just think of, like, Aroldis Chapman's fastball going right at your face.
Oh, Randy Josh used to hit the bird.
Well, can I say that out of all the 4 sports, which one do you think would cause a player to retire, like, the earliest age?
Football.
I think it's a toss-up for me between football and hockey.
We'll
That
put
puts
it
a
this
lot of
way.
strain on your
There's
body.
not always an assured check, shot, puck to the face.
Yeah.
Well, catcher and
But in football,
Catcher,
baseball.
that's a lot on your knees, yeah. But I
But
still think baseball overall is probably
but-
the least taxing on your
But
body.
overall,
Basketball.
but catcher in baseball is one of the most taxing
Yeah.
positions.
I'm gonna have to agree.
here's a
with
good
that.
poll for you. What would you rather play, goalie in hockey or catcher in baseball?
Mm.
Because in baseball,
Well,
you're constantly squatting down as a
that's gotta
catcher.
hurt your knees.
Yeah, I've heard so many stories of
How
high
does-
school players who have had great careers ahead of them, but their knees just gave out on them.
And I wonder if Bobby Orr was a catcher in high school.
I know that Jason Varitek was a shortstop in high school.
That's a good.
It's probably for the best.
Speaking of which, who's going to be the next captain of the Red Sox? Do you have any predictions? I'm going to have to say Pedroia.
Yeah, I was just about to say Pedroia.
And if it's not Petey, it'll be...
Why don't you call
There's
him?
a guy,
Everybody calls him Petey.
I don't call him P, I call him the
Fine, I'll call him Laser Show.
Yeah, Laser Show.
Either Laser Show is going to be captain, and if he's not, say it's David Ortiz.
Ortiz
Or-
doesn't have a lot left.
Ortiz
Red Sox
until he
career.
retires in 2
He doesn't
years.
have a lot left, but he'd be one hell of a
He's
leader.
He's the if you say Red Sox right now to current generation, he would most likely be the first player to come up.
Mm.
Like if you think Red Sox in like a little kid's mind,
He's
you
it's
think
probably
Ortiz.
You think David Ortiz?
yeah,
He's
even to me. I've been watching David Ortiz my entire life, basically.
yeah, all of us.
Yeah,
When was his
I-
debut? 2002, 2003?
Well, he played
Three.
for the Twins. A few
Three.
years before.
But for the Red Sox.
Yeah.
2003.
Yeah, he's been wearing that jersey since 2003, and look at the numbers he's put up. How do you not think of David Ortiz?
He's done. Well,
He's
Whenever I
he is a folk hero in Boston.
when I heard that in 2003, you said his debut was in 2003. I immediately thought of 2004 divisional playoffs. No, actually, it was the championship game. It was his walk-off home run in Game 4 that basically turned. Actually, everyone says Dave Roberts. Do you remember that's his
The stolen base. Yeah.
But I think it was Ortiz home run in Game 4 that put us over the top for the greatest comeback in sports history.
Didn't that happen in basketball once though? Back 3 games to none.
I'm pretty sure it didn't happen.
No, well.
I think we got that at some point.
Alright, well. Almost an hour. This was a good week.
Yeah, well,
There was more or less a New England edition.
Yeah.
Yeah, kind of. We should get back to teams other than New England sports
Because we're
next
not
week.
biased.
Because we're trying not to be biased, but it's kind
We're
of.
not biased, but a special edition for the home.
You
You know,
know,
the home crowd's good every now and again. And we haven't really done that once, except for the first week when I wore a Tom Brady jersey. That wasn't very becoming of
I
me.
had my Gronkowski jersey. You just can't see it.
No, that's... They can't see it.
Okay, quick question before we leave. When you think of Boston sports, who's the first name that comes to your mind?
Boston
Currently?
sports.
Currently or forever?
Forever.
Forever.
Bobby Orr.
When
Bobby
you
Orr.
think Boston sports, say Larry Bird.
Teddy Ball Game, first and
Well,
foremost.
that was my second.
Eddie Ball Game first and foremost.
That was a
Alright.
great video.
You gonna do the outro?
All right, well, 55-15. That's a good week. For all you homers out there, we hope you enjoyed. For all you Baltimore's and San Francisco's and Pittsburgh's and New York's, we apologize. We'll get to you guys in later weeks. But for now,
Try not to be biased.
Yeah.
usually it's for you, America, but this one's just for New England. So,
Special New England edition.
Boston, we love you. Happy birthday to number 4, Bobby Orr. And polls, you heard him here.
We'll put them on the page
We'll put them on the page later.
if I can remember.
If you want to check out our YouTube channel, you can do that.
Check out the YouTube channel, Hawkeye Sports FB. Check out the Twitter, Hawkeye Sports FB.
Which we haven't posted
Yeah, I
on
don't
like
think
a
I've
month.
even checked.
Do we even have more than like 6 followers?
We have like 3 followers.
Go Twitter! All right, well,
One of them's me too.
I don't tweet. I don't allow myself to tweet. If I did, I'd get addicted.
Yeah, it's a lot of addicting.
I just
Alright,
reply to a lot of people.
All right, we tried to cut
Yeah,
out
that's
twice
the
now.
topic, yeah.
Third time's a charm. All right, well.
Goodbye.
Goodbye. New
We're done
England.
here.
Au revoir. You heard it here. If it's good enough for us, no. If it's good enough for you, it's good enough for us. See you next week.